Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions on the worlds of TV, film, news, music, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is the vocalist for a band called Afterlife, signed to Hopeless Records. Their new record, August 13th, Part of Me, will be coming out August 13th. They just recently released a single as well. Tyler Levenson, welcome to Popternative, man.
Welcome. Thank you guys for having me here.
Yeah, we've been wanting to do this for a while, so it's like...
Yeah, I remember we were talking about it, and it's been a few months, and finally happy it's here.
Absolutely. It's weird, right? Like finally, like you're putting out a record and you're in the studio and like the release, like that's a weird feeling for the band, like actually getting it out there.
It's honestly, after like how this year's been, it's been so great. Like we started recording the CD March of last year, and obviously due to Corona and everything, like a lot was pushed back. So we finally finished it in October, and now it's coming out in August. So
Afterlife is a band that's doing really well on the streams right now. Your singles are on some amazing playlists on Spotify right now. It's about 77,000 monthly listeners on a monthly basis. The band does a very good job of not limiting themselves to one kind of genre or style of metal. Is it safe to say that that's something you guys have noticed, why the fans like you, because you're not putting yourself in one box in terms of your sound, Tyler?
yeah, I mean, we from the get-go, we've always incorporated, heavy electronics, rapping, singing, screaming, whatever it may be. We've always kind of had it from the beginning. So over each record, it's starting to develop and become like more refined. And if someone who likes us wants to listen to like a heavy song, they have that option. But if they want to have a song that's like a little more mellow and sad, for lack of a better word, they have that. They have a song for every type of emotion.
So was that the mindset with Afterlife? Like, did you guys ever talk about stuff like that, or does it just kind of happen?
I don't think we ever like sat down and discussed like where we want to take things. We just kind of wrote what we felt would be best for that moment. And we've always just kind of explored, never wanted to like pigeonhole ourselves into one specific genre, because then you can only grow so much, and it's much harder to leave whatever genre that you're in.
Is Burn It Down going to be on the new record?
Yep. So for Burn It Down, our last single is, I think, track 9 on the record.
Yep.
So all the singles out right now, Wasting Time, Burn It Down, and Part of Me are all on the record.
That's an interesting kind of thing as well, where it's a little bit like a pick and choose, like what's a single, what's not a single. What's that kind of process and mindset like for you and the band?
That was a difficult one, because I think this time around on this album, every song could have been a single. So we looked at it from a perspective of like 3 of the best songs that we feel could be serviced to radio or whatever the case is, and then we had 2 other songs that were just like the really fun, interesting, heavy songs. And Burn It Down was one of them. I just thought that sound and that song had such a cool feeling to it, very like anthemic feeling, which I feel like a lot of people look forward to.
And then the title track, Part of Me, just got released yesterday.
It did.
Yeah, which is...
And that song, man, let me tell you. So when we first started that song, I immediately like clicked with it. I knew this song was going to be something special, and as it progressed and got finished, it became one of my favorite songs on the record. And that's why we named the record, because I feel like it encompasses the total message and sound of the album.
And the whole album is going to be coming out August 13th from Hopeless Records, which is really, really exciting. And we're saying August 13th. I mean, right now we're doing this interview, it's June. We're literally going to snap our fingers, and you're going to be back on the show talking about the album.
Dude, I can't wait. Like it's one of those things that I feel like it's been seen a lot during the like quarantine or lockdown, and there's so much music being made and it's being held back because there's not the usual release strategies that you're so used to. You put out a record, you go on tour. It doesn't happen right now, and it hasn't happened for the past year. So it's like a lot of people are just holding on to music, and we held on as long as we could, but it was time for it to come out.
I'm curious to pick your brain about this. I'm getting a little deep right here with you, and I'm just curious to see what your opinion, because a lot of people are kind of like, no, like it's they understand where I'm coming from, but they're not sure. I'm noticing like this has been really a really tough year for like many people around the world. Like the
Yeah.
pandemic has just been tough. A lot of people used music to help them like help themselves through a lot of tough times, right? There's that stigma attached to bands and musicians
Mm.
that they have a hard time checking the ego at the door and the
Yeah.
rock star, right? Do you think that the pandemic is also gonna make a lot of bands do a lot of self-reflecting that like, wow, like we need to just kind of do our thing and be humble and not be a
Yeah.
certain way because people really like supported us and cared for us during these tough times and needed us during these tough times. Have you ever thought about that at all?
Of course. I think this pandemic is incredibly humbling to a
Yeah.
lot of musicians, big and small. It's because, like, think about it. You could be the biggest band in the world December 2019.
Mhm.
A couple months later, it does not even matter because no one is touring. No one is out there. The world's in a crisis. So I feel like it's definitely humbled a lot of people to just enjoy what they have and not take live music and touring for granted. Musician and fan alike. It's been humbling for sure.
You understand where I'm coming from with that though,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
because it's like right now, if I were to walk around and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm this band, I'm a singer,"
Afterlife,
people are
Hopeless
gonna be like,
Records,
"Who?"
Florida.
They're gonna be like, Okay, like what does that mean right now? I mean, what does it even mean 2 years ago?" But like, I think right now it's like it put things in perspective that your career could be gone in a flash.
Mhm.
And I do have a lot of friends too that over this time period that they got married, they got engaged, and they just kind of had to step away from the band,
Well,
like
you know
being a
James,
musician.
right? From Thousand Below.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had that similar conversation where he's just like he doesn't understand like the like that whole thing is
Yeah,
like he doesn't understand like the touring and everything.
I mean, it's hard to see when it's coming back, and I feel like now there's like slowly, like we just confirmed like our first show back, and it's been, I think our last show was December 16th, 2019.
Yeah.
So it's been going on almost 2 years now, and it's for a lot of bands and a lot of people that's not like sustainable.
Yep.
So like for me and like the rest of the guys in the band, like we all have jobs, home, on and off tour, so we're all pretty sustained ourselves because we set it up that way.
Well, I
But
think
there's some
that's the
people that
biggest.
just don't.
I think that's the biggest misconception of all time that will never ever go away. Where people
Yeah,
see people listen to Afterlife every day on a monthly basis all around the world.
yeah,
Spotify, like wow, 77,000
yeah.
monthly listeners, but it's like y'all have day
I'm, you know, I'm,
jobs.
yeah, it's like, I look at it this way too, because I'm literally going to work in like a couple hours. I'm going to work today.
Yeah.
I'm talking about our new record coming out, and in 3 hours, I'm going to be like asking someone if they, I mean, I work in a nice restaurant, but I'm like, oh, would you like this bottle of wine?
Would you
It's like
like the Would you
it's
like?
such a shift.
Great. And one last question: would you like to pre-save our new record?
Yeah, I'm slipping in the pre-save at every table. And that was like the crazy thing too, is because like on our first record, like our debut album, we had a number one song 3 times and like 3 weeks in a go 3 weeks in a row on the radio.
Yep.
But during that time, I was still going to work. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it's people only see like one perspective, but then they don't not understand like everything going on behind the scenes.
Well, it's interesting too because and that's why for people that follow Popternative, people might wonder because I interview a lot of different people.
Mhm.
I've kind of wore many hats and went around a lot of kind of industries. Like when I was younger, when I was like 17, 18, I was a concert promoter. So I
Yeah.
get it. I get the game. Like I get what you guys have to go to. I get like the touring and the like I get it, right? So that's why I love having
Yeah.
these conversations. I can relate to it, right? But I find it really interesting as well because there's so much going on a tour, and I find it really funny because the tour manager,
Oh yeah.
I bring it up. He gets all the crap from everyone, but he
Yeah.
is the one like
That holds it
that's
together.
that's to like deal with all you guys.
Yeah, I would never be envious of a tour manager position. That's such a stressful day. Like they're
You're
up
like
early.
you just show up and it's like one of your bands is like not doing soundtrack
Yeah.
properly, and he's like, "What? Like I didn't hear this. I just like
I
left."
just woke up and now the shit's already going down. Like it is. Yeah, that's a tough job.
Or
We've
like the
we've
tour, or like the merch guys who think that they're the tour manager. Those are fun
oh,
guys too.
I'm the merch guy for our band.
That happens a lot more
Well, I
now.
mean, I think
find.
it's a great tactic, from a business perspective. I'm on stage,
Mhm.
people see that, there's all these people in the crowd. Then they go to the merch table and they see the singer of the band that they just saw. Like, it's like you don't get much closer to the band than that, and some people really appreciate that they can
Au-
watch their favorite band and then go buy a
I
T-shirt or talk to
remember
them.
August Burns Red did that, and we
Yeah,
all freaked out. And this is when, like, no, like at their they were like one of their headline shows.
yeah,
Like they finished their set
and then went to the merch
and then
table.
went to the merch
It's great.
table.
I love doing that. I mean, there are times when I get to the table, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm dying because I'm like sweating and
Well, you
like,
just got off
you
the
know,
set, absolutely.
and then I'm like trying to do 100 million things at once, and I'm just like, it'd be nice at one point to just have like 5 minute, like a 5 minute breather.
Yeah.
But I'll take anything right now, please. I just want to get back to it.
I find something interesting about Afterlife in terms of the visual stimulating and then the listening.
Yeah.
When I look at a lot of the stuff, because you guys have photo shoots, you guys have like videos, lyric videos and everything, and then you listen to your band, you get kind of this jolt, this like eye pop being kind of like punched to the face almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With everything. Do you know where I'm coming from with that at all? Like that?
Yeah, I feel it's a very jarring
Mhm.
sound, and especially when someone talks to me like this. I'm very soft spoken. Like, I'm not who I am in the band.
It's a very like, oh my
Vocally.
God, like
Yeah,
Afterlife.
like I've heard, how does that voice? Like, I've talked to people like, how does that voice come out of you? And I'm like, I think to me, what's really cool is like I take over like a whole persona when I step on stage.
Yeah.
It's like theater, you know what I mean? Like, or acting or whatever. And I put up this whole persona, and I just love it. It allows me to express
But
things.
people love that. The crowds love that, man.
Yeah, I have a voice. I have a stage voice.
Yeah, it's
So like, dude, it's honestly pretty great. It's like a wrestling voice, like a wrestling announcer.
That's amazing. Are you a big wrestling fan?
I mean, I'd like to watch
dabbled?
it. I think
Yeah.
it's interesting. We've done some stuff on like the press side with like WWE, and yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I didn't know it was fake
Yeah,
for the longest time.
there is a W. I remember, what was that connection? The press.
We did something. Well, we did like I did like a voiceover, like an intro for like a song.
Yeah.
But like one of the coolest things we did was like our song was used for like an MTV show.
Yeah.
So the
that's
challenge
amazing,
that
yeah.
was, I was watching TV and I heard it and I was like, what? You know
But
what I
that's
mean?
the
It's like,
thing
what?
too, though. Like how. Like, here's the thing. Like, it's the same thing for like video games. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I used to play video games all my life, and those are the NHL, like the sports video games, the soundtracks. That's how I discovered my favorite
Dude,
bands.
Tony Hawk had the best soundtrack.
Tony Hawk, the best.
Like I would listen to that and be like, I didn't even know what this music was. It was punk, it was rock, it was whatever, rap, and like I didn't know what these were, but I enjoyed it because it enhanced playing the game. Like my guitar player, he's a big video gamer.
Yeah.
He plays like Apex. He loves sports. He's a big NFL, NHL type guy, and like his goal is to get one of our songs playing at one of the games.
Yeah.
Like that's his goal,
Yeah.
and I think he'll die happy if that happens.
It'd be pretty cool too if you have like, it would be pretty cool if Afterlife made, because I mean, hockey's a bit different. You need more of like kind of chants, and punk rock works more for it rather than like metal, but like a goal song. Like I challenge you guys to have a song do you have a song that you think would be a good goal song, like in any sport, or like?
I feel like Burn It Down could have been a good one. I feel like Burn It Down could have been definitely a sports song. We have a song on the record called Misfit Anthem, and it's like a crowd song. It's like super energetic. It like I think the main lyric in the song is like everybody get up. So like it's like it has a really bouncy feel to it. So I think when that comes out, that could be
we gotta wait till August 13th for that song. You tease us with that.
Yeah.
It might be the
I
best.
mean, we got 2 more singles coming out before then, 2 more music videos. So that's like one thing we wanted to do. Every single, we wanted it to have a music video.
Yeah, music videos never went away. I remember when people were saying like, "Oh, music videos, like no one cares about them." Like, I did not see that at all. Like,
I mean, I love watching like a music video and being like, "Holy shit, like this is crazy!" Like, I just came across one the other day from like this. He's like a pop R&B artist called Aries, and he has a song called "Fool's Gold," and it's like one of the coolest music videos I've seen in like such a long time. And I just got hooked in it.
Yeah. The big scale ones too are crazy. Like Harry Styles just did one in like black and white.
Cardi B's videos are like the craziest things I've ever seen. Like, like the amount of work and editing that probably goes into that type of stuff, I would not even want to think about it.
The obvious answer to this next question is you hope people enjoy it. You hope they recommend Afterlife to all their friends, and they save it on Spotify and everything. But diving deep into it a little bit more, what are you hoping they get out of it when they listen to Afterlife?
Well, the biggest thing with this new record and what I'm looking for people to take out of it is to kind of look within themselves and ask themselves, how does this make them feel?
Yep.
Because the whole record, every single song tackles a different emotion that myself or one of the guys was going through during the recording process. And the artwork for the record, I actually handmade. So I created the collage, and all the different colors represent different emotions on the record, and all the textures and broken glass and all the things that you see on the artwork
Yep.
represent something within the artwork. So when someone listens to Part of Me, that song is about receiving closure,
Yep.
and like the journey I took to receive closure from like the traumatic past
Yeah.
with like my family.
That seems like a big song for you guys.
I hope like
Yeah.
that song to me, I feel like has like the most possible reach, and there's like a couple other ones that are like good as well. But I want people to take from the record to like just sit, listen, and feel something. I mean, that might sound cliche, but there's a lot of emotion within these songs, and I wanted to really make people feel, because I listen to music all the time that like I don't really feel anything. I just feel it's like good music. It's a good energy. But like there are some artists I'll sit down and actually feel something, like NF.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with him, every one of his songs, I relate to it 100%. It could be like I don't even know what it's about, but I'm relating to it.
Have you noticed this really interesting, cool thing? Like, because I was talking to you a little bit in the beginning where like I don't think I could put like people call Afterlife like a metal band, but like I don't
Yeah.
really think I don't to be honest with you, like I listen to you guys a lot. Like I don't know, like sometimes some songs sound like metalcore, some songs are like more like new
Rocky
metal.
and
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. Like I can't
It's
pinpoint it.
I think it's just one of those things. It's just like a blanket genre.
Yeah.
You have rock, metal, pop, and then you have all the subgenres. For like, if someone like if I go to work today,
Yeah.
and someone I work with that I just know is not involved with this style of music asks me what kind of band we are, I'm going to say metal or rock.
Yep.
Because if I'm like, oh, we're like a active rock new metal band, they're like, I don't know what that is.
Yep.
So like I mean I understand where you're coming from, but there's like some genres that people will call us that like we've been called like pop rock, and I'm like, I don't see that at all.
No.
But if that's what you want to call it and that's why you're listening to it, then
I
by all
wonder if
means.
there's gonna be a new thing. Okay, I just thought of something, and
Yeah.
Afterlife could be like the pioneers of the genre. Pop metal.
Pop metal. Well, I mean, there is that. There's a band called Baby Metal, and it's like pop
Yeah,
metal.
yeah, but I think they. I think you're because you have a really cool, amazing, unique voice, man, and I
Yeah.
think it's like I think that brings like you have the capability of bringing like a pop element to it. I think that's
For
what
sure.
yeah.
We for our first record, we actually went to a producer. His name is Zach Servini, and he does like a lot of pop stuff. He did Good Charlotte, All
Yep.
Time Low. He did 5 Seconds of Summer.
But there's
You
a
know,
resurgence of that stuff right now. Have you noticed
yeah,
that?
the pop punk, like I don't even know what. Yeah, pop punk,
Travis
like pop
Barker is
rock.
just collabing with all of them.
That dude's checks must be insane.
He's
Like
collabing with everyone, man.
he, that man knows what to do.
That
That
like
man
there's
knows
that
what to do.
he has 2 songs with this artist named Kenny Hoopla,
Yeah, I know him.
and both songs are just unbelievable.
I
Like
found Kenny
Estella
Hoopla
and
through
yeah,
Nothing Nowhere.
yes, that's
That's
another
where
great
I found
artist.
him through. I love him. I feel like that style of music is so cool.
Yeah,
And like it's not, the styles of music where you can just kind of get over on being like kind of mediocre at it.
yeah,
But like stuff like that is like it takes real talent. Like it takes real talent to make those types of songs. And I always love that kind of stuff.
yeah. I wanted we I kind of went on a tangent because like when I brought up the genre bending, I actually had like a question
Yeah.
for you. Uh, it's interesting too where you kind of put something together. Like, does it ever happen sometimes like you and your band members have just kind of an idea of a song and you're not subconscious about like what you guys make, and maybe it will be a bit softer, maybe it will be a bit heavier. Like, does that ever happen sometimes? Like
Absolutely.
yeah,
It'll start with like sometimes a piano
Mhm.
or like a guitar loop or like some simple like cinematic like type production, and it sometimes snowballs into something that like we'll start with an idea.
Yep.
And then usually the final product is probably nowhere where we would imagined it go. And that's what happened with Part of Me. Is like our producer came to us with like just like this piano melody,
Yep.
and that's all it was. And then I was like, let's put this behind it. And he's like, all right, I'm going to put these like 808s behind it, and it just kind of spawned into this big song. And it's always very cool to see how a song starts and then how it finishes.
You're also a very hands-on guy in terms of wearing many hats with your band, with Afterlife.
Yeah.
You mentioned the artwork, and I know you guys all dabble and help out with the social media accounts as well, and the merch and everything. I feel like it's just at this point, Tyler, like it's not like you want to, it's like you have to. You have
Yeah.
to kind of do a lot of things.
It's this job. It's a second job. And when I do all the social media, I do a lot of the graphic design. Like, I'm really, really hands-on with it because I feel like no one understands the vision as much as I do.
It's your baby, right?
And I don't think anyone's going to bring it to justice as much as I would do. And I have a few select people that I work with, like our photographer Anna, and like they get it. So they're very easy to work with and they help facilitate a lot. But I feel like now people love the genuineness of an artist that's hands-on.
Yep.
You could have a person that does everything for you, sends it to you, this and that. But I feel like over time, like, fans, they'll gravitate it more if they know it's coming directly from the artist.
Absolutely, 100%. Tyler, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man. This was a great
Of course.
chat.
Thank you. I wish it could be longer, bro. I love talking to you. I feel like you ask such like thought-provoking questions.
Well, you're for sure. Like, I mean, you're coming back on the show. Like,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a time where we're gonna be like talking, and like I'm gonna link up with you guys at a show, and you're gonna be like, you've been on the show like 3-4 times already. So
I would love that.
it's gonna happen, absolutely. So it's exciting time. I mean, part of me, the single came out yesterday, and then the record's coming out on Hopeless Records August 13th, which is amazing. So
I'm excited.
they could. I mean, like we said, the restaurant pre-save drop, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, I've done it before at my old job. Like a lot of my coworkers, I'll get to like pre-save in that. But this one, I mean, I slip it in every now and then. Like, tables, like some people I serve and wait on, they'll like find it amazing that like I'm in a band because they don't know like the gravity of it.
Yeah.
So like when I start to tell them, and they're astounded that I'm like taking their order or whatever the case
Well, like
is.
I'm sure because I love Part of Me, but it's a little bit too like it just came out, so the reception it's kind of hard to like talk about the overall reception. But I know Burn It Down, like people love that
people
song.
love that song. Like, and that makes me so happy because a lot of songs like I felt kind of hesitant about releasing just based on like the sound and like the culture of like heavy music right now. But every song we've released has been really welcomed, and Part of Me is no different. I think Part of Me right now, what I'm noticing is a lot of people saying it's our best song.
Yep.
Or their favorite song from our catalog, which is now almost 35
I mean, I'm
songs.
biased because I like the heavy, energetic stuff. So I feel like
the next one?
like Misfit Anthem is gonna be my favorite song, even though I haven't heard it yet. But
Misfit Anthem's good. Our next single is called Envy.
Yeah.
And that is probably the heaviest song we've ever written.
I can't wait.
So,
and can you plug away like for social media? Like people can follow the band on social media.
yeah. So a lot of our socials are basically the same. Our Instagram is Afterlife FL. Our Twitter is Afterlife FL. Our Instagram is just Afterlife. We don't have like an official YouTube or anything, but mainly Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook is where we push.
Where in Florida are you guys from?
We're West Palm Beach.
Okay.
West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah. That was like my vacation place growing up.
Yeah, I've lived here now for basically about 9 years, and it's great. I was living in California for a little bit, and then here I am now.
Absolutely. No, amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Tyler Levenson from Afterlife and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.